We're looking at the 211th chorus, a poem from a collection of poems called Mexico City Blues by Jack Kerouac. Jack, of course, was the one who invented the term beat for the beat generation, from which we get the word beatnik. He believed that the word beat referred to a saintliness or a beatific attitude. Jack was born Catholic, but he converted to Buddhism somewhat in his 30s and thought of himself as a Buddhist most of all the way through the 50s and into the 60s, but then later in life, as he became more discouraged, he realized he was basically Catholic at heart. He died Catholic. He was buried Catholic. He was holding a rosary in his hand when he was buried. And this poem, 211th chorus, I think sort of juxtaposes the different points of view he had about the nature of reality. It says, the wheel of the quivering meat conception turns in the void, expelling human beings, pigs, turtles, frogs, insects, nits, mice, lice, lizards, rats, roan racing horses, poxy, bucolic pig ticks, horrible, unnameable lice of vultures, murderous, attacking dog armies of Africa, rhinos roaming in the jungle, vast boars and huge gigantic bull elephants, rams, eagles, condors, pones, and porcupines and pills. All the endless conception of living beings, gnashing everywhere in consciousness throughout the 10 directions of space, occupying all the quarters in and out, from super microscopic no bug to huge galaxy light-year bowel illuminating the sky of one mind. Poor! I wish I was free of that slaving meat wheel and safe in heaven dead. Now, the concept of karma is very big in Buddhism. It's one of the basic tenets, which means that you live your life, and as you live your life, you create patterns, vibrations that go out and bounce off every object in the universe. Some objects in the universe are so far away that they can't make it back before you are departed from this planet. So you still have to pay that back, and that's why we have karma, making it so that we have to be reincarnated. And so the wheel of the quivering meat conception, turning in the void, expelling human beings, is probably a reference to this wheel of birth and death and rebirth, this continual reincarnation over and over, a meat conception. It's not a pretty way to look at it, but that's just how it is for humans. He continues saying it also includes all these horrible things, such as, I gotta love the poxy bucolic pig ticks. I guess they're ticks that live on pigs. Unnameable lice of vultures that, okay. So it does seem like the most horrible things that he could think of that are living beings also are spewed out along with humans. This seems to be also a concept of Buddhism. He says, all these endless conceptions of living beings gnashing everywhere in consciousness. You can imagine them showing their teeth and gnashing them at each other. It's a violent and kind of a dangerous place to be. And he says it's that way all the way up. For him, it's all the way up to the size of the galaxies and the big gaseous clouds out there in the universe, and all the way down to the paramecium that live in our guts. And he says, poor, I wish I was free of that slaving meat wheel and safe in heaven dead. Well, being free of that slaving meat wheel is something that a Buddhist would actually want to be. However, you get there by becoming enlightened. He wants to get there by dying and going to heaven. I mean, that is not a Buddhist concept. That is 100% a Catholic concept. I think we'll see how this plays out in his novel On the Road, which was written in 1957 and was the beginning of the Beat Generation's literary fame. And we'll see that the entire journey is really a spiritual journey. He says at one point, at the very beginning, when he's starting out, he says, I knew there would be girls and visions, and somewhere along the road, someone would hand me the pearl. And so it's a search for something precious, but he, as much as he tries to go on this search without any restrictions, without any boundaries, to try to break down barriers, he's still restricted by this feeling that someday there's going to be a comeuppance, and he hopes that he's safe in heaven dead. So that's how we'll be able to take this poem as a sort of an examination of On the Road by Jack Kerouac.